Hi, I'm Kenyatta Mitchell, and about a year and a half ago, I found myself starting to feel a little ashamed about sitting in my African American studies classes and my peers knowing more about African American history than I did. So I used this shame as fuel to do research on African American history, focusing on civil rights in Mississippi. So my research question was, how did coalitions form in Mississippi during the civil rights? And now I want to leave a lasting impression on individuals I consider the forgotten people. So doing this research on civil rights in Mississippi, I found that for the past century, African Americans started organizations to bring about equal rights and social change. And groups like the NAACP, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and the Congress of Racial Equality came together as one organization in 1962 called the Council of Federated Organizations. And the most touching part about the research was, one, the fact that I had to travel over 800 miles to find this information, and secondly, the Freedom Summer. And the Freedom Summer, the documents that I found, they were historical documents and archives written by the people during the 1960s on their experiences, how they planned their meetings, and things of that sort. And so the Freedom Summer, for those of you who don't know, was the summer in 1964 where over 1,000 predominantly white volunteers came to the state of Mississippi to do three things. The first thing was help African Americans gain or get registered to vote after constantly being denied at voting polls. The second was to start freedom schools, which would provide more quality education for students. And then lastly, to participate in the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, where they would plan and strategize on how to challenge the Mississippi delegates at the National Convention. And so here we see the outcome, which was the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which ended segregation and banned discrimination, and then the Voting Rights Act of 1964, which guaranteed the right to vote for African Americans. And so here we see that these people that were starting organizations, people just like you and me, definitely contributed to the success of the United States. And so my main takeaways from my speech is simply that I'm dedicated to creating an atmosphere where we talk more about the excluded part of American history, because the civil rights time period was a very critical time in the United States and is a big reason why I'm able to stand here and talk to you about what I have learned. And I look forward to keeping the story alive of the forgotten people, because they deserve acknowledgement. They deserve a conversation today. They were huge contributors to this society. And like I said, I do want to look forward to keeping the story alive. And lastly, I have started a GoFundMe campaign to support the goal of accomplishing a nonprofit organization dedicated to students who want to do research on civil rights or any other African American history curriculum. Thank you.